reaffirm the UN unwavering commitment to young people and change makers across the globe. We gather here today at a time of profound paradox. The world produces more food than ever before, yet nearly 3 billion people cannot afford a healthy diet. These are not just numbers, they are a reflection of the deep systemic inequalities that shape our societies and our food systems. Parallel realities divide our world, a legacy of a long history. They trace the borders of geography, hardened by the inequalities of race, gender, income, and opportunity. A few people benefit, billions lag behind. Inequalities are universal, but not inevitable or irreversible. Human choices created them, and human choices can dismantle them. We are here because we believe transformation is possible, and art plays a unique role in this transformation. Art helps us feel what statistics cannot express. It connects our minds with our emotion, and it inspires action. By choosing change, action after action, we restore hope, build trust, and reset our societies. Transformation begins with people, especially young people. So many change makers are in this room and are all over the world, who are not just imagining a better future, they are building it.
So let us now listen
and be inspired by them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marina Ponti, for that inspiring expression. Ladies and gentlemen, as we have just heard, we're about to embark on a truly inspiring and exciting journey. Now, we invite you to experience Parallel Realities, an exhibition launched by the UN SDG Action Campaign with artist Ugur Galinkas. His work confronts us with global inequalities and envision a more just and hopeful world. One of Ugur's latest works is here with us today. Last Tree Standing presents a haunting and urgent contrast. A single tree stands alone in a cracked, lifeless landscape, its roots clinging to a shrinking space of green. The last breath of nature in a world suffocated by industrial sprawl. It is a stark visual metaphor for the fragility of the ecosystems we depend on and the injustice of a world where the consequences of environmental degradation fall hardest on those who did the least to cause it. Let's now watch this powerful video together.
When you look at the world around us, what do you see? Do you focus on hope, love, equality, and abundance? Or do you only see inequality, insecurity, hate, and decay?
Paralel gerçeklikleri aynı anda birçok gerçeğin var olabildiğini göstermek için yarattım. Ve gelişen bir doğa ve tertemiz gökyüzü, baskı ve fırsat, kırık kalpler ve sevinçle dolu yürekler. Sanat bize hem dünyanın olduğu haliyle hem de olmasını istediğimiz haliyle nasıl görünebileceğini, birbirinden yalnızca bir kareyle ayrılan paralel gerçekleri gösterebilir.
Transformation is possible. Let's focus on the world we want, and let's build it together.
What a powerful message. Let's now, ladies and gentlemen, turn to the next event. And now we're so honored to welcome an artist whose voice and vision speak directly to the very heart of justice, identity, and transformation. Seal is a Nigerian singer, songwriter who blends soul, folk, and African rhythms with powerful messages of empowerment and social change. Please welcome to the stage Seal with her supporting guitarist Timmy Trigger, who will be performing her song Echi.
Check. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Seal. Echi is a song. Echi actually means tomorrow. It's a word in Igbo language, Nigerian Igbo language, for tomorrow or the future. And it's a song about taking little actions and how our little actions make a bigger picture or builds a bigger and better world for us, and how we shouldn't, trivialize the things that we think are little, but make sure that we make the right choices every day for a better future. This is Echi, everyone. Time to take a stand, the world all over this, nothing too small. In time we all will see for sure, we played our part to make this world a better state. Teach the young to know they have a part. The earth is so. Teach them that she holds them all flow. Let's not allow our hidden. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sil, for the energy you are bringing to this room. Ladies and gentlemen, now shifting from the power of music to the power of youth, we turn to a message from a global leader who champions the power and potential of young people around the world. Dr. Philippe Paulier is the United Nations' first ever Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs. He couldn't be with us in person today, but he has sent a special message. Let's hear it.
Dear friends, I'm honored to join you today for this important conversation on young people as changemakers and on the powerful role of art in driving inspiration, action, and transformation. I'm a proud judge of the UN SDG Action Awards recognizing the heroes of tomorrow. Our world today is home to the largest generation of young people in history. Over half of the global population under the. This generation carries with it the power to drive a more just, a more inclusive, and a more sustainable society forward to the future. From tackling inequalities and climate change, driving innovation in agriculture and security, young people are already at the forefront. From grassroots mobilization, global advocacy. Young people are the co-creators of the solutions alongside farmers, alongside women, indigenous people, and local communities. They must be at the center of food system transformation. Because meaningful youth participation is not just a matter of inclusion. It's about improving the quality of decisions. It's about ensuring policies are responsive to all voices. And it's about rebuilding trust between institutions and the community they serve. Young people bring creativity. They bring artistic expression, which are powerful tools to inspire positive change. Art challenges the status quo, questions, disrupts, and reimagines systems that no longer serve us. Through art, young people don't just tell stories. They spark movements, they shift perspectives, and they build bridges across generations. Because art is more than an expression of our reality. It's a force that can shape it. Art gives voice to the unheard and brings visibility to the unseen, turns imagination into momentum, and it unites people in times of division. So I invite you to keep imagining, keep hoping, creating. With my team at the United Nations Youth Office, we stand alongside every change maker. And I know there are many of you in this room because you are the torch bearers of a sustainable, resilient, and just. Thank you.
A big thank you to Felipe, who underlined one of our team tonight, the power of young people from the world happening in Ethiopia, which has the youngest. We are going to hear about that now from our panelists. We are invited. First, let me welcome Ms. Eldana Samuel, the chairperson of the Nifa Silk Lafto Sub-Cities Child Parliament and a member of both the Ethiopian and Addis Ababa City Child Parliaments and child advocate. Eldana, your leadership and vision continue to inspire us all as we turn our attention to the vital role young people play in transforming food systems. I'd love for you to share more about your work and how you see youth contributing to the future of food security.
Your Excellencies, Ministers, Youth Advocates, all protocol observed. Greeting from the heart of Africa, Addis Ababa, where tradition and innovation meet. It's an honor to speak as voice for children and youth, especially the many young Ethiopians whose present and future depends on the choices that we make here today. My name is Eldana. I'm 16, a high school student and a child advocate. I'm very passionate about advocating for the rights of children and youth, especially the most vulnerable. And my role as a child parliamentarian, I work hard to ensure that children and youth have empowered access to basic social services, including quality education, health care, and that their rights are progressively realized. Ethiopia has made strong commitments from launching a national school meal strategy to championing food system dialects. However, we still face a harsh truth: many Ethiopian children lack enough nutritious food. We cannot build resilient food system if it fails the youngest and the poorest. Excellencies, despite the challenges, my country Ethiopia is full of energy and resilience. Young people are experimenting with and succeeding in innovation solutions to food insecurity. We are adopting climate-smart agriculture in Oromia region, establishing honey cooperatives in northern Ethiopia, and starting hydroponic farms in Addis Ababa. We're also running nutritious campaigns and growing food in our school through government-led initiatives. We're using mobile apps to connect farmers to markets. We're also educating peers and our family about malnutrition and the health benefits of locally available foods. I hear out Ethiopian youth who are advocating, farming, innovating, and organizing to ensure that as a country, we achieve food security. I speak on behalf of children and youth when I say we are not just the future. Instead, we are already leading change in the present to build a better tomorrow. To achieve full success in tackling food insecurity in countries like Ethiopia and even beyond, youth must be involved in decision-making processes and implementing of solutions. To do more, we need systems that trust us, that fund us, and include us. In an ideal world, my vision for food security is a world where no child goes to bed without enough nutritious food, where school meals are guaranteed, and where families can grow or buy food without worry. I also believe that young people should have a voice in creating food systems that are fair, climate resilient, and sustainable. We should be involved in decision-making about agriculture and food distribution and climate actions. Ladies and gentlemen, as we host the world here in Addis Ethiopia, continue to lead by an example. Representing children and youth of Ethiopia, I call on our leaders, both national and international, to commit to these four actions. First, increase national investment in child nutrition. From infancy through school age, no child should go without nourishment. It is important to scale up from food programs linked to the first 1,000 days of a child's life, while ensuring that all health centers screen for malnutrition. Second, guarantee school meals for all children. No child should be forced to choose between education and food. For example, a national school feeding strategy is a commendable start, and it's now time to allocate more funds to fully expand the great initiative. 3, support youth-led agriculture and nutrition solutions. Create grants, innovation hubs, and vocational programs for youth in food production, processing, and agricultural training should be supplemented with tools, equipment, and resources such as land to apply what is learned. And lastly, institutionalize youth voices in food governance. Establish youth council at regional and national levels with ministries, including the Ministry of Agriculture, Health, and Education. Let us, the youth, help in shaping the policy we live by. Distinguished guests, I hope that this Addis Summit will not just be remembered because it happened, but that it shall be remembered for the actionable commitments that were made to ensure no child goes to bed without enough nutritious food in Ethiopia, Africa, and across the globe. As I always said, Article 12 of the UNCRC guarantees our right to be heard. Voice for children and voice for the youth. Thank you. I'm second.
Thank you very much, Eldana, for that powerful and heartfelt message. Ladies and gentlemen, now we turn to another inspiring change maker, Professor Bekkele Mekonnen. He's a renowned contemporary visual artist, poet, and educator from Ethiopia, whose work invites us to reimagine justice, identity, and sustainability through the lens of art. Professor, I have one question for you, sir. How can art help us confront the inequalities embedded in our food system and inspire collective action for change? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will try to read the 3 minutes in a supersonic way, which is very difficult. Anyway, I will try to begin with a famous, very interesting say by a famous and thinker, Sudanese-born artist, visual artist, Hassan Musa. He said, art, says Hassan, art is too fragile to support the burden of African underdevelopment. He wants to say by this that art is not expected to provide direct solution. Rather, it creates multiple ways and roads which leads to the solution. It sheds light on the peculiar dimension of the problem that others can't or couldn't see. And by that, it will be a strong voice of change. Excellence in art, being a good voice, being a good artist, being a good painter, is not enough. The young people should stay aware or be aware of how the global economic system, the global economic structure operates, how the global political economy operates. Otherwise, art remains a sheer entertainment. It's an aesthetic object than aesthetic voice of change. Thank you.
Professor Bekele, your art and words remind us that creativity is not just a form of expression. It's a force for justice, empathy, and transformation. Thanks to our panelists for showing us how young and creative entrepreneurs are at the forefront of creating a just, inclusive, sustainable future. Let's meet now another such change maker. She's using science and innovation to tackle some of the most urgent challenges facing our food systems and our planet. She's a Kenyan engineer, social entrepreneur, and winner of the UN SDG Action Award for her circular economy work. Welcome, Zambi.
Thank you very much. I think the time couldn't be ideal because now I can speak of the art of science. And what do I mean by this? My name is Nzambi Mate. I'm an entrepreneur based in Nairobi, Kenya. And what I do, I'm in the waste space. And speaking from a waste perspective, the biggest cause of food loss, I truly believe from my work, is food waste. And when you see it from that perspective, you're able to see how thousands and thousands of Kenyans, speaking from my perspective, earn their living from the Dandora dam site, to the point where they not only earn their living, but that's where they get the food. Imagine someone eating from trash. In that same frame of reference, I truly believe it's inhumane for someone to throw food, whereas another is dying of hunger. But let's be clear, I truly understand that most of the food waste is caused by systemic change, systemic lack of proper plans and infrastructure. I'm speaking of cold chain systems. I'm speaking of transportation systems. And these can be huge, that are very government focused. But what can we do as Kenyans? What can we do as Africans? What can we do as global citizens? And that's why I come and stand and believe it is time. If you're a fund, if you're a government, if you're an institution, let's invest in Africa-based solutions for Africa-based problems. I truly believe that Africa, we're labeled as a food insecure economy. And I agree, don't get me wrong. But let's think logically. How can a continent that has a huge arable land be food insecure? That's a paradox. It's impractical. And I truly believe that it's time that we Africans, let's invest in our own systems to make our own selves food secure. Let's invest in that small farmer. Let's invest in that small distribution process. Let's invest in that small transportation system and cold chain. Eventually, we're able to make ourselves food secure. It's time as Africans we folded our sleeves and actually got the job done. It's time we stop getting aid and start doing economics and commerce. And speaking from business and science, I think that is the only way, because I truly believe the person with the problem is the person with the solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that inspiring idea. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stick with our theme of food, creativity, and innovation. But first, let's enjoy some music with Miss Jordanos Johannes from the Yared School of Music with Addis Ababa University.
ወደዳበደ ሲባል የሰማሁት ባንተ ነው ዘንድሮስ ደርሶብኝ ያየሁት እስኪ በል ንገረኝ እባክህ መውደዴ በፍቅር ትሙት ብለህ ፈረድክብኝ እንዴ? ለጊዜው ነው እንጂ የወደደው ቢያብድም አይስትም ጭራሱን ጨርቁን ጥሎ አይሄድም። እከሳለሁ እንጂ ባይሆን እጠቁራለሁ ማን ወዶ እንደሞተ እኔ ስሞታለሁ። ካላየኸኝማ እያለህ ባገሩ መቼ ይቀራል ብለህ ልቤ መቸገሩ ሆዴ ስለሚያስብ አንተን ዞሮ ዞሮ አንድ ሐሙስ ቀርቶኛል ገና ተጨምሮ አካሌ ያዘኝ እንዳመሌ ሰርካለም ለኔ እንዳንተ የለም አመመኝ ፍቅርህ አደከመኝ ጥፋቱ አይኔ አንተን ማየቱ ይዋል ይደር እንጂ ሲሞላለት ቀኑ በፍቅር የታመመ አይቀርም መዳኑ ጤና አዳም ቀጠፌ እኔ ጠጥቻለሁ ብቻ ልዳን እንጂ ለወቀሳዋለሁ አካሌ ያዘኝ እንዳመሌ ሰርካለም ለኔ እንዳንተ የለም አመመኝ ፍቅርህ አደከመኝ ጥፋቱ አይኔ አንተን ማየቱ የወደደ አበደ ሲባል የሰማሁት ባንተ ነው ዘንድሮስ ደርሶብኝ ያየሁት። እስኪ በል ንገረኝ እባክህ መውደዴ በፍቅር ትሙት ብለህ ፈረድክብኝ እንዴ? ለጊዜው ነው እንጂ የወደደ ቢያብድም አይስትም ራሱን ጨርቁን ጥሎ አይሄድም። እከሳለሁ እንጂ ባይሆን እጠቁራለሁ ማን ወዶ እንደሞተ እኔ ስሞታለሁ ማን ወዶ እንደሞተ እኔ ስሞታለሁ።
Thank you so much, Jordanos, for that amazing performance. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been engaged in the Food Systems Summit, you may have seen our next guest. He's someone who's dedicated his life to a simple but powerful truth that access to food is not a luxury, it's a fundamental human right. Dr. Milion Balai is the General Coordinator of the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa. Over the last days, Milion had led a powerful three-day convening here in Addis Ababa, bringing together chefs, policymakers, and grassroots leaders from across Africa. The gathering, called My Food is African, is focused on reclaiming traditional food systems, strengthening food sovereignty, and building a unified African position ahead of this very summit. Now, Milion, I have a question for you, sir. What are the key messages discussed in your meeting that you would like to bring to the summit?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry that you have to listen to me after this beautiful voice. I am the General Coordinator of the biggest alliance in Africa. AFSA operates in 50 of the 55 African countries. It's a movement of movements. We are farmers movement, fisher folks, pastoralists, indigenous people, faith-based institutions, consumer associations, almost all Africans. The constituency, our constituency are about 200 million Africans. So my voice is their voice. we know the challenges that we have, the triple burden of malnutrition, environmental degradation, cultural erosion, and also justice. So question is for AFSA and for all of us, how can we ensure a food system transformation to ensure a healthy and sustainable diet, a healthy and culturally appropriate diet? So AFSA explores various avenues. One of the avenues that we wanted to explore is why don't we bring chefs, policymakers, CSOs, media together in a room and use cooking and food as a way to explore issues. And Chief Kabui is one of the participants. So we brought chefs and other participants from 24 African countries. And this is their outcome. One is we have to celebrate our heritage. Food is not only for nourishment. Food is spiritual. Food is cultural. And in food, the ecological knowledge of our people is expressed. In food is our right, in food is our identity. To acknowledge our challenge, the persistence of colonial narratives, that Africa is poor, Africa is sick, Africans cannot feed themselves, so we have to feed them. So that narrative is persistent, so we have to confront it. We have to confront the policy contradictions that we have in our countries. The number of good policies, but they don't read to each other. We have to confront also one of the topics of this, this discussion, today's session, which is the disconnect of our youth from the tradition of the food system. You know, the new generation. We have to bring the new generation into our food system. They have to be proud of their food, their heritage, their spirituality. The culinary education system in Africa is mainly based on European food. So in our education system, even in culinary education, we have to emphasize our food. But there are opportunities. Still, there are our seeds, which are the basis of our food. Still, there is knowledge in our mothers, in our sisters, in our fathers. And still, there is a demand, increasing demand for cultural food. So the meeting has committed itself, one, to demand the implementation of policy. There are a number of good policies in our countries and in our continent. So we have to demand the implementation of these policies. And we have to confront the narratives that I have mentioned. And we have to uplift everyone, including our chefs. So we say that our declaration, our demand should be living. And the chefs have agreed to come together and broaden the movement. And thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Dr. Miriam Bilei. As you said, our next speaker joined your event earlier this week and hosted a live cooking demonstration celebrating African cuisine and spotlighting the continent's culinary heritage as a pillar of food sovereignty. Chef Kabui is a renewed food justice advocate and a creator of Afro-futuristic conscious cuisine. Let's take a look at what he has been serving up to here at the summit.
My name is Chef Kabui. Welcome to my cooking demonstration. Lentils. We have some rice. We have some pistachio nuts. We have some dates. We have salt. We have olive oil, black pepper, star of anise, cinnamon, cumin, and saffron. That's one recipe. The additional recipe will have teff, and white teff, grey teff, and then we have black pepper and already crushed, I already mentioned that, and then we have a sauce that's made out of mango and lemon using these spices and caraway seeds, and we have the rice that's already cooked, we have the grated lentils, and we have the beans, and now we start cooking.
so much, Chef Kabui, for your video. Can you tell us in 1 minute what is your message?
My message is very simple. It's that African youth have to start by being examples themselves. In anything you do, you have to have a destination, a purpose, and a plan. Afrofuturistic conscious cuisine is one such example. Afro has rhythm, Afrobeat. It has roots, heritage in Afro. I'm African. It has a direction. I want to eat so that I can be here in the future. I want to be here in the future how? By making sure I take care of the environment, and I want to be here in the future in a world that is just. So it's Afro-futuristic and it's conscious. I want to do that very consciously. There's only two ways of existing. You can be here as alive or sleep. If you sleep, it's a form of hypnosis. So I want to be here conscious and being active and a participant in creating positive change. And it's a cuisine. We have to eat. You have to feed anything, you have to eat. So that's my message, simple message. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chef, for that wonderful idea. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our last guest brings together our theme of tonight's of creativity, sustainable food systems, and the leadership of young people. She's an extraordinary change maker from Ecuador, Ms. Paula Andrade. She's the founder of Survivors Say No More and recipient of a 2022 UN SDG Action Award. Paula's work confronts one of the most painful and often hidden injustices in our society, gender-based violence, and in particular, child sexual abuse. As a survivor herself, Paula has transformed her personal journey into a powerful movement for justice, shifting the narrative from victimhood to that of super survivor. Her message reinforces indigenous knowledge, food sovereignty, and the urgent need to defend ecosystems that sustain life and culture. Before we hear directly from Paula, though, we will first watch a short film she created titled Roots of Hope.
In a world shaped by parallel realities, where borders and systems seem to divide us, we must pause and breathe to see with different eyes and step into a shared vision rooted in hope. Let's shine a light on Africa and South America, two distant yet resilient territories of the global South, united by the ancestral wisdom of their people. They know that to protect the land is to pass on wisdom, to hand over knowledge as a gift to the next generation, so that youth may rise as a global change maker, ready to become the heroes of tomorrow. This is a path made of invisible roots, a space where bare feet touch the soil, and once silenced voices become action, memory, and hope. Here, food is more than sustenance. It is a language of justice, of identity, resilience, and belonging. Through food, rituals, and protection, we remember that the seeds we plant today carry stories of survival and a collective power. In a world that produces more than it consumes, yet where millions still go hungry, we are reminded the answers live in women who nourish and protect, in youth who listen and lead, in communities that transform memory into action. Because we are what we remember. We are what we protect, what we pass on. We are called to return to our roots, where hope is planted, wisdom is shared, and the future begins. Let us transform silence into voices of justice and awaken the guardian brain in each of us. The inner compass that protects life, nurtures the land, and restores dignity.
Okay? 2 words for you: radical hope. I was abused by my father, and 9 other persons since I was a baby till I was 16. For me, radical hope is not a naive thinking. It's a promise that you make to yourself to understand what happened to you in order you can solve it so nobody has to go through the same problem. I'm here talking to you because half of the change makers that you want to inspire through art, through creativity, for food security, are going to be or have been victims of violence. There won't be food security unless we change our brains. You know, we have reached 4.8 million children in Ecuador. We have raised the reports in more than 3,000 since we started. But you know, we're still failing youth. We, the adults, have to rewire our brains. We're still operating with the same brain, the prehistorical one that paralyzes, silences, and alienates. But now we have to shift our mind. We have to teach our kids to start talking, to start acting, and to work each other connected from each one of our places. We are so different here in this panel, but what makes us completely the same is that we are changing the world from our roots. We are not denying anyone. And I am telling who I am because sexual violence is invisible. 1 of 2 children in the world is happening, is suffering it right now. Let's change our brains in order to become guardians. There won't be food security unless we protect what we love most. Thank you.
What a message. But before, Paula, I would like to ask you just one question. Could you walk me through some of the major work that you've embarked upon? Could you tell us some of the things that you're doing now?
Oh, well, first, art has been part of our work. We started a campaign that reached 15 million Ecuadorian in a 70 million country. We start making theater plays. We have created in open source more than 350 videos that are used all over the world because we understood that violence is hidden and silenced. So creativity and art help us show something. It's so abstract, so painful that we can put words, but art helps us. And through that, we have created 35 programs, and we have changed culture. And now in the 10th years of Ecuador Says No More, I'm bringing the guardian brain paradigm because I feel the youth is ready. They talk. They want to do something. You know, we raised a focus group on each city in Ecuador, and for a campaign we were creating with UNICEF that was called You Decide. And you know what they told us in every city? Actually, we don't decide. We talk, but the others don't listen to us. We report, but they don't know what to say. So in a way, this new paradigm is a way to evolve In the era of the connection, we are disconnected. In the era of the communication, we must evolve to protect.
Thank you, Paula, and thank you to all our panelists and community can drive real change in our food systems. We now kindly, you already know, we now kindly request all our panelists to return to their seats to enjoy the rest of today's event and to reflect on this moment and to help us frame the path forward. It is now my great honor to welcome to the stage a global leader who has been a tireless advocate for sustainable development, equity, and dignity for all. Please join me in welcoming the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Ms. Amina Mohammed.
Okay, let me do as I'm told. Good afternoon, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, but particularly the last few change makers that I was listening to. I was so engrossed in what you were saying, and I do apologize for being late. So I had a speech at the beginning, and I have one at the end. And I thought that if we were going to be in line with the change makers today, one of the things I could change was not read the speech, and really try to speak to an audience that is so important to us. When we say we want to include youth, then we better be listening. But we should be more than listening. It is that engagement, that intergenerational conversation that we need to have that carries us forward. And the only one, the young lady that I missed at the beginning, sorry to have missed you, but all the other messages that were coming across, I thought, if you bear with me, I put them into 5 points that I was gleaning before I came up here. I think first that we've heard today really is the reality, and we continue to hear about how the geopolitics of today have really widened the gap in terms of trust, even though so much has been gained and that we have all the tools and the resources in our world, they seem not to be shared, they seem not to be as accessible, there seems not to be a sense of urgency and the scale at which things have to happen to make a difference in people's lives. And how do we know that? We produce year after year reports that tell us that we are failing. Reports that tell us that we are not making the goals. We have the Sustainable Development Goals, and they have 2030 to go to. And our report this year tells us that we have only gone 35% of the way. But that's an aggregate figure. It doesn't tell the stories of what is happening across the regions. And so the reality is pretty grim. The stories we tell about the burden of this that falls on women and the less privileged, the stories that tell us about what is happening in our global economy, that when we recovered from COVID, we didn't recover equally. When there is a war in Ukraine, that impact is felt in our food systems, it's felt in our energy systems, we see injustices that we do not know how to get around, whether it is in Gaza today and what we see with starvation, or it is in Sudan where we have inaccessibility to go and meet those who need it most to see another day. And so the reality is really grim. However, for me, the hope is what I heard today, is young people. It is the youth with a very different narrative, with a very different conversation. And the question is whether, in fact, we're going to allow that hope to prosper, whether we're going to allow that to breathe and to give them a chance, not to take the baggage of my generation, but actually to take the energy and the vision, whether it is 2063 or the 2030 agenda, and really move fast with it. And so when I think about the how, for me it is about the intergenerational partnership that we need, that you do have vision and energy from young people who are mastering a new era of technology. But you have the likes of us who've been through it, we've walked those paths. We're a little less slow now, maybe we have short-term memory loss now and again, but we do have wisdom, we do have the experiences, and I think that together this can go so much further on all the agenda we have. Because when I look around the world today, we are not for want of policies, we are not for want of knowing what to do, but we get stuck on the implementation. We get stuck in the environments that we are. Are they enabling enough? Do we have a business environment so that we can actually prosper with entrepreneurs and with business? Do we have an enabling environment where governance itself allows young people to meet their aspirations? Do we have the courage to say no to injustices? And when people say, no, what are you talking about, right to food? We shouldn't even be talking about a right to food. It's in our constitutions. And so therefore, we should be saying, this is not what we want. We should be saying no to gender-based violence, as we should live in a life where it is dark and fearful, and therefore, it is a big injustice. And to say no to hunger, because when you take a person with hunger, you strip away their dignity. And when a person is living a life without dignity, they become vulnerable to everything else that is not so good. And so therefore, I think that this intergenerational conversation and partnership that we need to have is really important. It is also about changing the narrative. I just heard it here. Absolutely right you are. If we continue with the same narrative, we will continue with a Band-Aid. What we have to do is to go back to who it is that we are and be absolutely proud of that, no matter where we come from in this world. That is the richness of our diversity, is that we are very different. We bring different things to the table. And if I look to see some of the conversations I just mentioned to my colleague here, the minister, I was in a situation where we were having a lunch. I mean, I often complain about some lunches because I see the plate looks really nice, and so I call it designer food. It looks really good, it's too small, and I don't feel like I'm eating a meal. But that's because somebody else has said that that's what we should have, and this is their rendition of what a good meal looks like. And it probably is very nutritious, and it looks very nice, but to me, I just want to go back to my rice and my beans and my meat and eat it. Now, I listened around a table when we brought African food to the table, and someone say to us, well, this doesn't look good, and this does smell slightly funny. And these are the kind of things we don't talk about. They're not very diplomatic, they're not nice to hear, but it is a reality that we look down at other people's food. And so I think a healthy respect for what everyone eats, and that we ensure that it is nutritious, and that when the chef said he wants to make a meal, that he can promote what is his, so that we can share it. I think that that's something we ought to take really good notice of, particularly when we go into our schools. And I just came out of a school feeding program here in Addis, and I wonder sometimes who created the menu. What we want is a nutritious meal, but what we also want is the respect for the injera everybody eats here. And to carry that forward with you, and to carry it forward in a nutritious way. So I think the narrative is more than just, who we are, what we are, but it is really, really from the roots, inside out. Every one of us has something to offer. Respect it, share it. We will be a richer world for it. We need genuine partnerships. That two-way handshake, not one that is a hand me up. I know we've had those times, but after 80 years of the United Nations, I think now the handshake needs to be much more genuine. And so I really welcome and applaud that today we have Ethiopia and Italy co-hosting this event. That's, for me, a handshake that's taken from Rome, where we've had this meeting twice, and we come to Africa, and I hope that the next time we will be in Asia, we will be in Latin America. We need handshakes around the world that are equal, respectful, and really talk about what is possible, the solutions to have for us to get further than we have done today, change the paradigm. We need a global economy. We've just come out of Sevilla, and Sevilla had a Financing for Development conference, and many of us were there. And that global economy, when I talk about an equal handshake and genuine partnerships, everyone needs to come to these meetings. If we say that this is an international meeting, we don't want Africans talking to Africans. The geopolitical tensions, we see people going back into their corners. And that's not going to take us forward. We are a globalized economy, and we are going to remain so. What we need is a more equal and accessible economy, that everyone, not billions, are left out, but everyone has a chance to make their way, to build their nations, and to see their visions. And I think here we will hopefully have those discussions as we go through the next 3 days. So let us dig deep in the conversations we just heard. Take those forward. This is a Sunday where we are visiting sites, where we are seeing what Ethiopia has done over the last few years. quietly, but with intent, has made a huge difference. And there is still a way to go. But let's actually look at the glass that is some full, and then find what it is that we need to fill that glass around the world. And I think we heard from the people on the table today, the change makers. So for me, I hope that by the end of this conference, what we will have is a call to action that will use the food transformations as a way that we can come together better, go further and deeper, and leave absolutely no one behind by the time we get to 2030 and delivering on the SDGs. Thank you.
A big thank you to the Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed. Thank you for the inspiring words, but equally also for your leadership in these trying times. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that by now you will know that transformation is possible and that it starts with each of us, with the power to imagine the world we want to see and the determination to build it together. We still have an energizing performance left in store for us to the end of the event. But now, it is my great honor to welcome to the stage Dr. Ergoge Tesfaye, Ethiopia's Minister of Women and Social Affairs, to deliver closing remarks. Dr. Tesfaye is a leader who has long championed inclusive development and the power of youth and creativity to drive transformation. Your Excellency.
Good afternoon to you all. Your Excellency, Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and most importantly, our vibrant youth, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. First, I would like to recognize and commend our teams from Ethiopia, Italy, and the United Nations for the great collaboration that leads to successful convening of this event. I just would love to say congratulations. I also would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the young people present here and also in an internet out there in the world, artists and panelists who have given us momentous experience at this event. Thank you very much. It is with great urgency and optimism that we conduct the Stocktake Summit for Food System. It's urgent because the challenges face food system today, underproduction, climate shocks, and persistent hunger, which requires immediate and transformative action. The optimism stems from the collective commitment we share and the innovative solutions we will put forth over the next 3 days. Our discussion will underscore a fundamental truth, that is, the future of food system depends on the meaningful participation of our young people. Involving youth in agriculture and food system is not just about increasing food production. It is about creating decent jobs, fostering economic growth, and building resilient communities that can withstand climate change and economic downturns. Agriculture has long been perceived as a sector of last resort, arduous labor, limited opportunity, and outdated practices. It is our collective responsibility to fundamentally change this narrative, as it has been said by the former speakers as well. It is critical that we make agriculture not just a viable career path, but also an attractive, dynamic, and prosperous endeavor for our youth. Art and creativity, as we have seen earlier in this regard, play an instrumental role in achieving these objectives of youth mobilization and positive narrative creation. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for Ethiopia, agriculture is a cornerstone of our economy, offering 35% of jobs to our youth and 1/3 of our GDP. Ethiopia has embarked on revitalizing its agricultural sector, placing the youth at the center of the agenda. Furthermore, the broader African Union strategy and agriculture mainstreams the critical role of youth in building sustainable agri-food systems. We must recognize that investing in our youth in agriculture is an investment in our collective future, filled with food security, prosperity, and sustainable development across the globe. We have seen promising results when we empower our youth. For Ethiopia, Yelemat Trofat, which we call it Bounty of Basket, as Her Excellency visited this morning, our National Food Sovereignty Project and the Green Legacy Initiative that continued to plant over 40 billion of trees in the past 6 years would not reach anywhere without the innovative role and active participation of our youth. In this regard, I just would love to mention that over 24 million Ethiopian youth were engaged in volunteer activities in realizing these national initiatives. We understand that attracting young people to agriculture requires a fundamental shift in approach. In this regard, I would like to conclude my speech by recommending 3 action points required from this summit. First, enabling environment for agri-entrepreneurship. We need to enhance access to productivity resources like land, finance, and productive inputs for young people. We need to create an enabling regulatory and policy environment that encourages innovation. Second, investment in agri-tech, innovation and digital literacy is very important. We must increase investments in modern agriculture, digital solutions, and digital literacy programs that appeal to the young people and encourage them to participate in agriculture. Third, enhancing the agenda and the leadership of youth in food system governance is very important. We must ensure that young people are actively involved in the decision-making process, from policy formulation to implementation and also monitoring. It's my hope that we will conclude this summit with renewed commitments and determination to implement these actions to ensure that our young people see agriculture as a dynamic, innovative, and rewarding path to a prosperous and food-secure future. I thank you.
Now we end on a high note with rhythm, purpose, and unity. To close, we turn to music, a universal language that moves hearts and brings people together. Rocky Dauni's Shine a Light is a powerful anthem, and in a time of urgent global challenges, it reminds us that each of us can be a light, carrying hope, resilience, and the promise of a better future. Please welcome singer, songwriter, 4-time Grammy-nominated musician, and UNEP Goodwill Ambassador, Rocky Dauni.
How are you all feeling today? It's been an amazing day to listen to the incredible speeches and know that whatever we are working on here, we're carving the future ahead of us. So when we are architects of the future too, there is an importance for us to align our purpose. And the way to align our purpose is also to sing together. So if you all want to sing together with me, I want everybody to stand up because we have all been sitting down all day long. So let's all stand up. And let me see your hands, show your hands. Are we on? Whoa, whoa, let me hear you. Whoa, whoa, one more time. Every day, in every way, oh, I'm gonna let my whole light shine. Every day, in every way, oh, I'm gonna let my whole light shine. On and on and on and on, for the world to see. Yeah, yeah. Oh, people, I am ready. Chapter new beginning. When every little step I take will reach for a higher ground. It's not gonna be easy. Fate will let it be. And I know with you by my side it's all gonna be alright. I say, hey, I believe we can shine a light so bright, so bright. I say, hey, I believe we can shine a light so bright, so bright. Every day, in every way, oh, I'm gonna let my whole light shine. Come on, let's sing. Every day, in every way, I'm gonna let my whole light shine. On and on and on and on, for the world to see. Yeah, yeah. Light up the darkness with the positive spirit. Oh, let the sun shining in with the wave of a joyful sound. Whether high or low, I will not be afraid to lift my head up, reach and touch the skies. I'll say, hey, I believe we can shine a light so bright, so bright. I say, hey, I believe we can shine a light so bright, so bright. Now let me hear you all sing with me now. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Now we say, hey, I believe we can shine a light so bright. All around the world, all around the world, all around the world, let's sing. Hey, I believe we can shine a light so bright. Are you gonna sing with me now? Let me hear you say, yeah, yeah. Well, if you have a world that we believe in, that means we have to make our affirmations right now. And this is a simple affirmation. It's a mantra as to what we are going to do right from here. So we all say, hey, I believe we can shine a light so bright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, everybody Everybody sing. All around the world, all around the world, all around the world, let's sing. Whoa, all around the world, all around the world. Let me hear you louder now. You gotta say it. Hey. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, hey, I believe we can shine a light so bright. One more time for the whole world to hear. So you gotta say it loud now. Let's go now. Let it be. God bless us all. Oneness. Let's go. Let's make the change. We have the power in our hands.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rocky Daouni. And thanks to Addis Ababa. Thanks everyone online.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for those here with us, and thank you to those watching online. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just received an announcement. Please attend the launch of the UNFIS Plus 4 Youth Declaration on Food Systems Transformation tomorrow evening at 4:30 p.m.
Well, let me give a special thanks to Samuele, to Brittany, to Xavier, to Mohammed, and all the technicians and volunteers, and of course, thank you, Marina.
Thank you very much, Excellencies.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, just one quick logistical announcement. So we have an exciting event coming up now organized by the Italian government. It's a coffee event at the museum, and there are shuttles arranged to pick you up at 3:30 from the main gate. It's going to be very fun, so we hope to see you there. Sorry, hello, if everyone could just take their seat while...
This one.
Hi, if everyone could just take their seat while we allow the speakers to depart first, please.
Dugutigu kumana, drobne ulai utara, nga alisini ube kolonji de solila. Na mahine anga mahola, ube sege ube nyanina, uhai kebe paula. Now you do kona na hilila. I used to walk 100 miles to get water for my people. Used to walk 100 miles to get water, to get water. I used to walk 100 miles to get water for my people. Used to walk 100 miles to get water, to get water. When life gets harder and the desert got the blues, I dare you, walk a mile inside our shoes. My brothers are marching 1,000 miles. They all share one dream and a broken smile. Running away from hell straight to the sea. Get on the boat, cause they had to see the Eldorado on the other side.